Welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how to get started with AI, and in particular I'm going to show you how to get started with the GPT-3 Open AI. You may have seen it, it's January 2023, you may have seen it in the news, you may have seen it causing a bit of controversy in schools and universities where students are starting to use it to produce work and homework and essays instead of writing them themselves. There's a real kind of ethical discussion around, number one, do we still use the old method of assessment, or do we need to change the way we do assessments? Anyway, in this video, I'm going to talk you through how to get set up and show you some of the features. So the first thing you need to do is go to your search engine, and we're going to type in GPT-3. Now, GPT-3 stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer number 3. There is a version number 4 coming out, I think early February of this year, 2023. And it's an AI that uses an autoregressive language. Now, what that means is it uses a statistical model to build responses for the future. So let's say you had 50 responses to a question. It would learn from that and create a model and then predict what the responses would be when somebody asks the same question again in the future. Over time, obviously the model becomes tighter and more efficient, and therefore the response become better. Depending on your browser, you will see that there are many websites that actually list GPT-3. There's a demo one here. At the top, we've got this text writer. And these are all websites that are using the AI in order to, I think this one creates words, create pictures, etc. The one you want to make sure you go to is this one here, Open AI. So you can always Google GPT-3 Open AI. Click on that and it will take you to the website, and you'll need to sign up first. You can sign up with a Google account, or you can sign up with Microsoft or create your own. It will require you to enter in a mobile phone number so that it will send you a verification code, and once you're done, then you are signed in. So I'm going to log in. So I've already set up my account, I don't need the verification, and we are in. Okay, so when you're presented with this page, you probably think this doesn't look much like an AI. I'm slightly confused. What we've got is a number of things. So first of all, if we look on examples, these are example AI programs to do various things. So we can change movies into emojis. We can translate text into commands. We can produce names for products and so on. And there are loads of these that you can try out. There's also, for you programmers out there, the documentation, which shows you how to use the AI. There's also examples, and the bit you're probably interested in is the playground, which we're going to click on at the top. Now the playground is where you can begin to create your code, you can begin to enter your question and it will respond. So let's do something very simple like what is planet Earth? Press submit at the bottom and we will get a response. The good thing about this is it's all being generated in real time. Okay, we can then adapt this. So we can say something, explain what planet Earth is. As you can see, we get a slightly more detailed answer. That's pretty good. Now, one of the nice little features here is the yes and no. So these are good for giving you feedback and indicating whether or not the response was good. So actually, fairly good response. I'm happy with that. If you wanted something more detailed, you could say write an essay about life on planet Earth. Always remember to delete the answer, the previous answer, otherwise it will think that's part of it. Press submit, and here we have our essay being created for us. Now, down the right hand side here, we've got various settings. The one I'm interested here is the code, so we can view the code. And if you're using Python, then you can share this code, add it into your Python program, and it will pull out the same results or similar results, because obviously don't forget this is a statistical model, it's constantly developing. We've also got the code libraries for curl, JSON, Node.js, so you've got a selection there. And you can copy and paste the code, open up your Python editor, paste the code in, we're sorted. Now you will need to sign up for an API key, which I'm not going to show in this video because I'm just showing you the overview of the playground and some of the chat features. That will be in a second video, but you would enter in here your API code, and then this will run in Python and return a similar response to what we have on the screen. It's quite nice. You can share your code with other people, and you can also save the code as well, which is quite good. Now you can do various things like maths, so we could say something simple like, what is the average of these numbers? Okay, but it's a bit more smart and intelligent, this AI, rather than just using it as a glorified calculator. What I want to show you in this next bit is that you can actually use it to create program code, which is where I think is really impressive. So just to kind of put this into context, I've created a HTML file here, very simple HTML file for a simple web page, and I'm going to drag this into here. Okay, so this is the AI homepage in this file here. Okay, now I want to add some JavaScript. So if I type something on the lines of write JavaScript to create 2 buttons. Brilliant. Copy those back to my website. I'm going to add them in. Press save. And if I go to my website now, I'm going to refresh this. And I've got 2 buttons. Now obviously I haven't told the buttons, or sorry, I haven't told the program or written the JavaScript for what the buttons are going to do. So we're going to add this now here. Let's change it then. Write JavaScript to create 2 buttons. Button 1 turns the background yellow. Full stop. Button 2 loads YouTube. Okay, let's see how it does with that. So, submit. Now, if you know any JavaScript, you'll know this is looking pretty accurate. So again, copy, and then we can go into here, replace the old 2 buttons with the 2 new buttons, press save, back to the website, refresh. Here's the button. So button 1 changes it to yellow. Nice. Button 2 should open up YouTube. And obviously I'm signed in, so it's trying to access it. Very nice. Okay, let's go back and try something different. Let's try something like when. What I'm going to do here is ask it when button 1 is pressed again to change the background back to white. So let's maybe do this more in programming language. If button 1 is pressed again, change the background to white. So you see here it's created a script and it's also written it as functions. So let's take these here. So these two buttons are going to go back into here. And then let's go back from this script. We're now going to place in the script heading. That should be it. Okay, save it. Now, just before we look at the results, I just want to obviously point out that before it was creating the buttons, but now the AI has actually ascertained that it needs to have an if statement in there. It's created it. It's actually made it into a script now, which is really impressive. So let's go back. What did I do here? Oh, I must have closed it. Okay, so let's go here. Right, button 1 makes it yellow. Button 2 loads YouTube. Now apparently if I press button 1 again, it should go back to white. So this is very impressive. Add a third button that closes the web browser. Here we go. So you can see now, it's added it in. There's my third button I need. So I'm not going to put it in because I don't want to close the web browser, which is quite nice. Now, what is absolutely brilliant about this is that I can change the programming language. So I can say write a Python program to create 2 buttons. Press submit, and off it goes. And if any of you have used Python and Tinkerter, you'll recognise the code here. It's creating some kind of GUI, which is absolutely amazing. Let's try a different programming language. Let's try C++ as a classic. Oh, so I left that in there. You must remember to always take out the previous response. And there we go. So this is really impressive, real time, and it's telling me and finding responses and also at the same time learning. Just one last thing to show you before we move on to the chat is I can ask it how to do something as well. So if I put something like in Python, how can I access my webcam? Full stop. Okay, so it's told me you can access your webcam using the OpenCV library. So in Python, how can I access? Okay, so what I might want to word it to is write a program in Python to access my webcam. And that gives me the output, which I can use. Now, if you're concerned about security, let's say I wanted to work out what my password was for my router, then it does come up with some kind of constraints around what you can do. So, for example, if I ask it to write a Python program to find my router's password, we'll see what it says. So something like write a Python code to find the password of my router. There you go. This is impossible to answer as the password for your router is unique. So let's try something like, how can I use Python to find the passcode of my router? Router's manual to obtain the password. Okay, so let's go a bit more specific. Let's say, how can I use Python code to crack the passcode of my router? You need to use a specialized tool designed for this. Okay. So you want to say what tool? Ah, okay then. So it's actually told me what I need to use. Let's say, how can I use air cracking, crack the password of my router? It can be used to crack the password of a wireless router, but it's not recommended. This because it's illegal and can get into trouble with the law. If you decide to use this air crack ng, crack your router, you need to capture package from the routers. It's important to note that cracking the password of a router is illegal. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm not going to go any further with this because I'm just showing you the features, but a very powerful AI with some very impressive results. The last thing to show you is the Chat GPT, which is basically an online chat, which allows you to answer questions in real time, similar to the playground, but I don't think it allows you to grab the code. So here, remember you can share the code, you can share all these different outcomes with people. Here, we're just having a chat. So if I say something like, what is the outcome of KSI selling Prime in 2023? See what it says to that. I think I've given it a very difficult question. So this is obviously a chatbot, or the chat AI is similar to the playground, but obviously you don't get the code structures. It's just good to, if you want a kind of more free flow text. Oh, here we go. A free flow text conversation style, then this is good. This is an interesting outcome. I'm sorry I don't have the information on the outcome of KSI selling Prime as my training data only got up to 2021. Okay. Well, that's fair enough, isn't it? I'll give it that. So obviously, yeah, let's ask it, will this, let's ask it, if I make a video, which I'm doing now, we're getting very meta here. If I make a video of how to use Chat API, will it do well? If TechCoed makes a video of Chat GPT, will and shares it on YouTube, will it get over 2,000 views? How it's promoted, how it resonates with the audience. Yeah, that's a pretty good answer. And this is where the chat bit's nice, because you can obviously then respond to certain sections. So if I wanted to say something like, what is the size of TechCoed's audience okay. I can't pull that out, that's fine. Okay, so this is really good because also, I keep getting carried away because there's so many different features of it. What's quite nice is you can get it to respond to letters or to summarize. So I'm just going on the internet. I'm going to find a news story. Let's go to BBC News. And let's... UK is set for cold snap after a weekend of floods. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to take the story. Right, so take the story and I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to write summarize this story. Oh, yeah. Okay, I might go back to the playground for this. It'll be easier. So let's go summarize this story, comma, paste it in. Hope I could spell properly, wouldn't it? Here we go. And it summarised it. I did also use this to write some email responses as well. So people have sent me some long emails and I copy and pasted them in and said, please write a response to the emails. And they were pretty good. Very emotional. Probably wrote the responses with more humanity than I would. I tend to be very to the point with emails, but this worked really well. So that is an overview of OpenAI or GPT-3. GPT-4 is coming out in February to March time. Don't know about the availability of it. Let me know how you get on if you try it. If you've got any questions, ask me. And don't forget to check out the other videos. I will show you how you can begin to incorporate this into Python programs and how you can use it in some of your projects. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.